Fuck. Folks, we're back with another one. I was going to do the cool slide-in chair intro, but the wheels broke, so it didn't happen. Anyway, we're back with another video, and I feel like I should do more of a follow-up on my last video. Explaining why it is good to take, like, 10x gains on something. And like, even though it may seem like Pokemon will go forever, and I mean, it might, who knows? Uh, None of us really know. And I'm not here to say I know for sure by any means. But I am here to say that, first of all, there's the Corvette in the background. You gotta love it. I had to do a car in the background for once. But my point is, I'm kind of already seeing this happen in the market with a lot of sealed, where like everybody wants like slabs. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of changed where like a lot of people like prefer slabs. And but even this though, and like One Piece for example, and Dragon Ball Z. I mean like the One Piece blue bottom boxes are like $6,000. They were like 900 last year. An incredible investment. That it's like, why would you not lock in your gains? You know what I mean? It's like winning the lottery, but never cashing the ticket. And I'm guilty of that myself. Like, trust me, I do the same damn thing. I still have a lot of Pokemon, and I'm kind of in the same mindset that a lot of you are of like, well, it's just been going up forever. I mean, how could it stop? And this is where I want to introduce to you something called the Black Swan event. And I just want everyone to imagine this. And we're just going to, because I want people to understand how quick a market can change in the blink of an eye. And this may never happen. And in my opinion, the past 3 years have just been the perfect storm for Pokemon. Like a bunch of people with money, there being nothing to really do, a pandemic, um, people hyping up Pokemon, and it's just been a really good position for Pokemon, and people needing to make money in a rough time. So the boxes are more in a demand of people wanting to buy them and hold on to them to make money and then sell them for more money. And that has just been like an ecosystem that has worked really well for anyone that's bought Pokemon over the past 4 years. I'm not denying that in any way. Um, but I really want to explain how a Black Swan event can happen out of nowhere. None of us see it coming. And I want everyone to picture a world like this where everything changes. The stock market crashes, almost all companies are worthless. Um, Everyone is panicking to turn their money into metal because it's the only thing that appears to hold value in a crashing system. Everyone is selling their homes because they're just not doing good. I mean, hell, look at anyone holding a home. They thought real estate was the best thing in the world because their house doubled in price. And it's like, if they didn't lock in their gains and move their money into something else, like silver, the $200,000 house that they could have cashed out on would be like 600K in silver now. So, but I want people to really see this is because like we've seen silver hit 120, and this is just like some fear. You know what I mean? Like where the world's still functioning, but there's still like a fear um, of like, oh shit, inflation's getting bad. It should only get worse, and that's just a slight taste. Imagine a full on collapse, um, where everyone is in survival mode. Do you think they're gonna want to buy my 420 Greninja for a couple $1,000? You know what I mean? Uh, or an Evolving Skies booster box for $2,500. Uh, and and I also want to. I'm not saying that could happen, but it can. And this is something you have to be aware of. That all these boxes everyone's been hoarding, hoping to get rich, they all come onto the market at once as everyone's trying to sell because silver went from, 70 to 100 to a buck 50 to 200 to 300. Now it's showing no signs of stopping, and everyone is dumping their One Piece, dumping their Pokemon to get into some form of metal where nothing matters in the world besides metal. No cardboard, no paper, no cash. None of it matters, or it's very worthless. Where it's being bought up for pennies on the dollar compared to metals. Now, if you didn't lock in when you had a 25x gain on Evolving Skies, like you're gonna kick yourself, And I'm guilty of it too. You guys know what I own. Like I own an Evolving Skies booster box. I own Team Up booster boxes. I own like 120 grand of Pokemon. You guys know my position, but this is why I'm half in Pokemon, half in silver, and the rest in real estate. Is for that reason. But even myself, I'm getting more tempted to take some of these massive wins. Um, because I don't know how much farther Pokemon's going to go. And I'm taking a risk. Like, imagine this. You bought a lottery ticket that was $100 and you won 1,000 on it and you just don't cash it out. You know what I mean? Like, um, and then the value crashes back down to like $200 because no one wants it. You know what I mean? Like, a Black Swan event can rob you of all your gains. And I know it's never happened before, that Pokemon has never just dropped off a cliff or not just like stopped going up. But for a lot of sets, it has. Like for Stellar Crown, Temporal Forces, a lot of them have done nothing. Um, like 151 booster bundles, they've kind of just doubled in the past couple of years. Like that's not like crazy, and that's even one of the more preferred, better sets. And now you don't take my word for it because, like I said, I gain nothing from giving you this information. Like if you sell your Pokemon, I'm not there to buy it from you. Screw with a bucket. So, like I have nothing to gain from telling people this. I'm just saying that it's starting to cross my mind more to take some of these crazy gains. Now, maybe not all of them. Like Prismatic Evolutions, the ETBs still seem cheap. The uh, the PC ETBs still seem reasonable at 400. But like a 151 PC ETB is $1,000 now. They were $50. Like stuff like that. I'm like more inclined to be like, okay, I should probably turn some of that into silver at this dip. And it's just I'm showing the perspective of how things can just change rapidly. And if you don't take your gains off the board sometimes, they still have the chance of being wiped out. I mean, with Evolving Skies at $2,500, if something like this happened where only metals matter, and and the people with money don't care anymore about Pokemon, you especially modern, like you could see Evolving Skies dip to 1,000. Like it it really is a possibility that I I have to tell my audience this because like yes we've seen positive gains on it, but I really would like me personally. I would not advise any of you to go out and buy Evolving Skies at $2,500 a booster box. I would not advise you to buy 151 PCETBs at 1,000. Um, I just wouldn't. Um, because they've already ran up so much, and I'm not just saying this because I love silver or anything like that. If silver got a 10x gain, I would give you the exact same advice I'm giving you right now of saying, do you remember when silver was $80? It's now 800. Probably should take some gains. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to give you that same advice on Pokemon, silver, One Piece, whatever you're into, crypto. If you get a 10x gain on anything, you should probably lock in profits and at least have the available cash to put into something that you believe in that is that hasn't went up so tremendously, like, because it can always come back down. And it just seems like everyone's doing it with Pokemon at this point, to where the magic only goes so far, and then eventually it can crash. And I'm not saying it will. Like I said, I'll still hold Pokemon right along with you guys. Probably till the day I die. I'll probably never sell most of it. Uh, but certain things like my Fusion Strike booster boxes, I'm not selling Lost Origin yet because it's still too cheap. But like my Fusion Strike, my Evolving Skies ETBs, um, some of my PC ETBs, I'm genuinely leaning towards taking profits because I got a lot of them so cheap. And like even Prismatic, like the PC TVs, I was telling you guys to buy them for like 160. They're like like 400 now, and people are actually buying them for that. Like I'm pretty good at calling the markets to where, but I want people to understand that that black swan event can happen, and when it does, it can wipe out a lot of your gains. That if you're up, like if you bought Evolving Skies at like 1800 or something and it's now 2500, yeah, I probably wouldn't cash out yet because you didn't make a shit ton of money off it yet. But if you bought in the beginning, you know, at 125 or 500 or 600, and you've gotten thousands upon thousands of gains, that's an incredible predicament to be in, that you should probably take your gains. And even if it goes up some more, okay. But my point is, it's not like the end of the world if Evolving Skies goes up $300 more. Like, you took away massive risk, and you're still holding like real money to pay your bills or to do something with, and to maybe invest in something else that is that you believe in that hasn't gotten crazy gains yet, that you think might 5 or 10x. Uh, it's basically the point I was getting at from my last video is, um, and I don't care what you put it into. I mean, if you think Bitcoin's an opportunity at 66 grand, have at it. If you think silver is a good investment at where it's at right now, where I personally think it's a great investment, um, then you should do that, you know? But like, take what I say with a grain of salt because I still hold Pokemon. I have no like incentive to make you sell. Um, I would rather you hold because it keeps my Pokemon expensive. So, I don't have a point to get you to sell. It's just I'm saying that what comes up can always come back down. And in a world that becomes dominated by metals, like take your Fusion Strike box to China. They're not going to want it. You know what I mean? Like if metals take over, they want your silver. You know, Samsung doesn't want Fusion Strike. They want silver. You know, and if people start to see around the world silver go up, from where it's at 75, 80 now to 100, back up to 120, and then back up to 160 and 200 and 300, they're all going to dump this shit all at once, especially if they don't see any real nice gains in Pokemon. And there hasn't really been in the past year, really, that are like notable. Um, People are going to start dumping that and wanting metals. And I'm just saying that there is a possibility of that happening. that everyone should take into consideration, especially if you've gotten, a 10x gain already. Like, you did great, and maybe people don't have someone there to tell them this, that it's like, you did wonderful. You bought Fusion at its cheapest price at 125 a box. You're a smart person. If you're watching my channel, you're probably fairly fucking smart. Um, but you've done incredible. But it does not mean it will last forever, and it does not mean that some crazy black swan event cannot wipe your gains away. I mean, we've already seen silver go from 20 to 120 in a year, making all Pokemon investments kind of seem pointless this year. Even after the drop, even after silver dropped to 80. Um, when you compare the price action over the last year, silver has still tremendously outperformed Pokemon this specific year. Now, if next year is anything like this year was, and we see more 4x gains on silver, even in the next 2 years, people are going to dump all of this cardboard market and be it One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, all of it, and want metals because that's what they'll have to pay for their food or their home or their this or that. And I'm just saying, in investing period, you have to be prepared for black swan events. And like I said, if silver was at its super duper peak, 5, 6, 700 an ounce, I'd be making the same video telling you, hey, you should probably exchange it into something else in case you lose all of your gains. And that's really just the point of this video. Um, and the point I want to get across. And like, I don't want to come across saying that Pokemon's a bad investment because it's not. Like, we've seen Pokemon do incredible things. Um, but it's only been for certain sets. It has not been for every Pokemon product. Like, it's just not this guaranteed formula of buy Pokemon box, it go up. Like, it's not like that. It's happened for certain sets, certain products, certain booster boxes, certain PCETBs. There's been a reason for why they went up. Obsidian Flames, the PCETBs, they went up because of the Charmander promo. You know, um, Evolving Skies went up because of the booster box form becoming more expensive. Um, like something like Unbroken Bonds went up because it's just harder to find. Like, but it doesn't mean that a Black Swan event cannot come and just wreck your gains. And that's all I really want people to understand because I don't want to see any of you lose a 25x gain because you're trying to make an extra 2x of your gain. Like, why would you want to risk a 10x gain and hope it goes to an 11x gain? Like, you're only gaining 1x or 2x and you're risking your 9x gain to squeeze a little bit more money out of it. Like, you have to start looking at it that way. Um, and even if you're just going to hold it in cash, um, which I mean I don't recommend doing, but uh, it still is locking in your buying power of having some cash. And maybe if things do take a shit, people really still want cash. I mean, God only knows. I highly doubt that's the case. I think we'll live more in a metals world. But I just really wanted to explain to everyone that this can happen, and you should definitely consider it. And if you have no exposure to metals at all, and this is why I say to have a balance. But if you have no exposure to metals and just all Pokemon as like your full investment strategy, and you've gotten great gains, it's not a bad idea to move some boxes like Evolving Skies or Fusion Strike or like Lost Origin. You got a great gain on, and put some of that into silver. Like even if it's 10% or 20%, to diversify and do some of it into silver. And it may not be the wisest advice out there, but it may make you a shit ton of money if the world has this black swan shift event, which to me looks like it's getting dangerously close every day. I mean, the news, the articles that have been going on, and how the world's just changing rapidly. Silver demand exploding. There not being enough physical silver. Um, the COMEX almost running out of silver soon. I mean, uh, Pokemon is not the only investment that you should have, and that's the point of this video. Um, and like I said, you really have to imagine other world scenarios, where everyone has Pokemon in their closets. Imagine it, silver exploding and Pokemon just staying still. Everyone's gonna panic, sell their Pokemon to buy silver. Like that could happen. I mean, it could also happen. Silver crashes, Pokemon skyrockets, and this advice looks stupid. I'm not here to say one or the other will happen because none of us really know. But I'm still saying that if you have a 10 to 20x gain, to lock in the money, man, because we just don't know. You know what I mean? And I mean, imagine how bad you would feel if Fusion Strike went from $1,000 and it just crashed down to like $300 again. You know, 70% of your gains just wiped out. And most of the time, it doesn't happen that slow either. Like, if a Black Swan event happens, it's just everything, it just crashes at once. You know what I mean? And you don't really have time to escape. Just like what happened in the silver market where it crashed 40% and none of us had time to escape real fast. Um, but just because something's crashing now doesn't mean it won't come back really strong in the future, um, especially once the COMEX scam is fully exposed. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens either way. That in my opinion, I think you should be in both camps. Some silver, some Pokemon. That's where I'm at. Am I selling off all my Pokemon to buy silver? No, that would just be foolishness. Am I selling off all my silver to buy Pokemon? Hell no. I'm probably going to sell out boxes that I don't really believe in as much that have gone up a lot, and maybe funnel more of that money into silver, and maybe even keep some of it in cash just to pay bills and do shit with. Um, but it is important to lock in 10x gains. I mean, I maybe a lot of even investors that have been in it for 3 or 4 years, maybe a lot of you really don't realize how difficult it really is to hit a 10 bagger gain on something. I mean, it doesn't happen very often. Usually it's like a generational thing of like once in 50 years there's a good investment that 10x's. And for you to have it ripped away from you just because you were holding out for an extra 1x, you know what I mean? Like you have to start thinking like that. Yes, could Fusion Strike be a 20x investment? Sure. But you also take the risk of it going back down to like a 3x investment? You definitely do. And anyone telling you that you don't take that risk, that it's a short thing, is definitely full of shit. Um, and like I said, I don't recommend to sell your entire collection, but I definitely recommend to be diversified and to really consider taking in gains on sets that you're like, is it this really that special of a set? Is there something rare about it that I should really hold on to it? Um, is kind of my best advice. And, that's really one where I wanted to finish off at with this video. Um, and just explain to everyone that 10 bagger gains can easily be taken away. And that if silver gained 10x, I would be telling you the same exact story of what if it went back down? You know what I mean? And you really have to prepare yourself because in 2026, none of us know what's going to happen. And it, there could be a black swan event that wipes out most of investing. And the metals exploding would honestly kill the cardboard empire. It would kill most of real estate. It would kill most of businesses. It would kill the stock market. I mean, all of this can be wiped out when gold and silver take their throne. So, and possibly Bitcoin. I mean, even Bitcoin, um, as much as I'm not a massive fan of it, it has potential to be like the king currency, or it might go to 0. A lot of us really know yet again. But, when you get a 10x gain, you really should consider like locking it in, and just take it into consideration. Is all I'm saying. Um, you can write off what I'm saying as horse shit. That Pokemon's continuously went up. It might continuously go up more, but at the same time, you are risking. Like with Fusion Strike, you're risking $900 to hope it goes up to like 1,500, 2 grand. I mean, it's possible. I mean, with Cosmic Eclipse, it went from 1,000 to 4 grand. So who knows? Maybe holding on to Pokemon is the right thing to do. But to not be diversified, and being like both camps, I think could be dangerous. So, uh, like I said, take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm not really giving you any investing advice, but my real investing advice is really just consider taking 10x gains, because you've won. If you can ask any real investor out there, and they will tell you if you got a 10x gain on something, you should probably cash out on it, because there's a slim fucking chance it gets much better than that. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy this one. Like I said, I have no evil intention to get you to sell your Pokemon so I can buy it back for cheaper or whatever. Like, I don't really even care. I just kind of have the Pokemon I do. I'm not even really buying Pokemon right now. I'm mainly really considering selling more. And, like, if anything, I would consider like prismatic PCTBs are still cheap, or prismatic ETBs. They've now hit 150 when everyone said they were going to drop, and I said to buy them. Now they're 150 again. I think I was saying to buy them at like 70 or 80. But yeah, and I mean, like I said, it's tougher to get your money out of this stuff too. People always lowball the fuck out of you. Like there for a while, Evolving Skies ETBs. Before I cancel this video out, Evolving Skies ETBs. They said they were $425, but like most people were actually letting them go for 250. I mean, there was a short period there, like 2 months ago, where people were letting Evolving Skies ETBs go for like 250, 280, even though the price said 400. Now, we're starting to see a lot more confidence come back in that, where I'm starting to actually see the bids reach up to 400 on Evolving ETBs, which is good. Um, and like that's a set that might really stand out and become $1,000 ETB. But at the same time, like if you bought it for $40 and it's now actually selling for 400 in real cash, um, it might really be time to consider taking gains, because like like even though something has performed great for decades, does not mean during a financial collapse that it cannot tank. So um, that's my important message to everyone, that if you get 10x gains on something, it's probably important to leave. You know what I mean? So take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm not telling anyone to do anything. Like you guys do your own thing. But I'm just saying from my perspective of how I see things, um, don't risk your 10x gains for a couple extra $100. Like, that's just how I look at it. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back with another one. And yeah, we're out.